Hello my loves, welcome back to Sparrows and Business. I'm Mel and I'm making videos about building up 10 streams of income and also surviving the current financial crisis that we are in the UK, and I think that plenty of other countries around the world are joining us in that, sadly. So if that sounds interesting to you, then make sure you hit the subscribe button. Today's video is just going to be a vlog of my day. I'm thinking of including some daily vlogs and weekly vlogs just to show everyone what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis to try and make these 10 streams of income a reality and something that will consistently pay my bills every single month, or pay my expenses. It's not just bills, is it, but my living expenses. If you want to know a little bit more about that, then have a look through my back catalogue. It's not very big. You should be able to find some videos that are talking about my income streams and my plan for 10 different ones. At the moment though, I think it's just 5 of them that I'm working on at the moment, and then the other 5 are for me to start looking into next year. So what we've got today then is a bit of so I'm looking at some bits that I've got out on my desk and thinking, oh, I could show people those. Today is a bit of a mixed bag. In fact, this whole first month of trying to do this, I am allowing to be a bit messy and disorganised because I'm still kind of finding my feet. I went on holiday for part of October as well, so it's a bit of a funny month to start in. So there's a lot of mopping things up, a lot of planning out what's going to work across the whole of my week moving forward into November. It's just gone 10 o'clock in the morning and I've just made myself a cup of tea in this absolutely flippin' gorgeous mug, and yes, it's as big as it looks. It's not quite as big as my head, but it's enormous. So, you know, enormous cup of tea to get going this morning. Has just gone 10 o'clock. I haven't been doing nothing. This isn't me just starting right now. What have I done this morning? Sort of like proper work-wise is I have sorted out how to make a YouTube short, and I've uploaded one and it's scheduled to go live this afternoon, so we'll be checking on that later to just make sure that it's gone out and that everything about it looks okay. And it's about the watch time on this YouTube channel. So one of the 5 streams of income that I'm trying to get up and running this side of Christmas, or like build up this side of Christmas, is getting this YouTube channel remonetized. And I have to say, you guys have been, honestly, you've just been so amazing in the sense of like lots of welcoming me back onto YouTube, which is really kind and really generous because I had been gone for quite a long time. And there's been lots of really interesting comments left, lots of positive comments left. The vast majority have been encouraging. I mean, there have been a few. And I knew that this would happen as soon as you start talking about money. It really, people get very opinionated and they feel that they should share their very strong opinions with a complete stranger on the internet, which is not something I would do, and is not something that the vast majority of you, like 99.9% of you, would ever dream of doing. But there's always the odd one or two. But on the whole, it's been it's been a completely positive experience, like the odd idiot here and there. Who cares? That's been really great. And what's been really brilliant, first of all, is that actually the views that I've got on the videos have been a lot higher than I thought, considering I've been away for a long time, and also the channel's a bit of a melting pot at the moment. It's, in terms of direction, it is just me uploading bits and pieces about building the income and trying to, you know, survive the cost of living crisis, like I said in the intro, and all of that kind of stuff. So there's a real jumble of things, and I wasn't expecting the viewing figures to be as they are. But what's been like truly phenomenal, and the most helpful thing of all, is my average watch time, like the duration of time that people are watching the videos for, is just, there are so many of you that are watching them all the way to the end. And I can tell because I get average watch time data, but I can also tell because of the number of you that comment on things that I've said towards the end of the videos, and I'm just like, oh my god, that person watched all of it, like all of my chit chat this person has sat through, which is just amazing. It's amazing. And because I've still retained over 1,000 subscribers, not that the vast majority of those, of the 5,000 that you see number wise, they aren't here. They ain't here. They're not watching the videos, whether they're even on YouTube or even live still, I don't know, but they're not here and they're not watching. But it does mean that I've ticked the box for having over 1,000 subscribers, so I don't have to worry about that. The thing that I have to focus on in order to get remonetized is the watch time. And because so many of you are watching my videos all the way to the end, or certainly watching them for a good chunk of time, the watch time is just going up so much quicker than I ever imagined that it would or could. So I'm so grateful for that. And the little YouTube short that I've made is just an update on that watch time and a bit of a target for the end of the month. So yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, I've done that right and that will go out this afternoon. Oh, I was just thinking I look really tired today. Really tired. I haven't put any makeup on for you guys. I'm sorry. It's an ordinary working day. We're not being fancy or particularly presentable. I have got a nice jumper on though. This jumper is a Burberry jumper that I got for, I think it was £8 on Vinted, and I got it during the heat wave. And I made an offer on it, and I just think that was a really good time to buy a jumper. In fact, I bought 2 jumpers. I bought a nice warehouse jumper, which I might have worn in a previous video, I'm not sure. But yeah, so I'm in my lovely jumper, but it's just all a bit, you know, it's very everyday face and very everyday hair at the moment. Other things that I've done this morning, well, the other thing kind of work-wise that I've done this morning is sorted out a dispute on eBay. It's a really strange one. So quite a number of weeks ago, someone messaged to say that they hadn't received their item. So I told them to open an item did not arrive case via eBay, and you know, we'll deal with it from there. Instead of doing that, they seem to have waited, I don't know, like maybe even a month. I can't remember. I haven't got it up on screen, so I can't check the date. Waited nearly a month, and then suddenly this payment dispute came through via their, I can't remember the phrase that was used, like their payment card or something, presumably their credit card, claiming that they didn't recognise the transaction on there. I just found that a little bit odd, and I just thought, why did you not just open the thing on eBay? I don't understand the logic of some people. Anyway, it was only about £5 all in. I think it was something that had sold on something on a what am I trying to say? I can't think. An auction, like a 99p auction or something like that. Yeah, come to about a £5. So I've just paid it. I mean, they'd taken the money from my held it from my payout anyway, and I just thought, oh my god, just pay it and just do one. And so now I'm sat here thinking, oh, I'm going to get negative feedback, aren't I? Even though I don't even know what's going on with this person. But them's the breaks on eBay, and I can always ring up and see if they can change that feedback when it comes through. So there's that. And other things I've done, bits and pieces around the house, actually, a few bits around the house. I've still got a couple of things to do. I need to empty the dishwasher and I need to put the recycling out, so I might do that around lunchtime. I've also got to sort of plan in some walking, some exercise, something outside, because the more and more I go outside and get the fresh air in the daylight, particularly at this time of year, I am sleeping so much better. Not perfectly every night, but so much better than I was. So I'm starting to perk up a bit, starting to look a bit brighter and healthier again. And I think what I'm going to do today is, because there isn't anywhere in particular that I want to go to, I took a long walk around a local park yesterday. I think today I'm just going to spend an hour in the garden at lunchtime, or possibly at the allotment, because I've got some autumn seed sowing to do over there, and I might be able to crank out a video for my gardening channel while I'm over there as well. Kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone, get some fresh air, bit of relaxation, film it and whack that onto my other channel. Work-wise then, today, in a minute, I'm going to tidy this desk. All I've got to do really is put away some bits and pieces of stock, like I said, that I bought yesterday. Once I've done that, I think I've got one video in the works that just needs a final edit. It needs uploading and all the back end stuff done, so I'll do that. Basically this morning is going to be like mopping up little bits and pieces that haven't been finished over the course of the week. I've also got some Etsy listings to put on where I've got the photographs and I just need to put the listings on, and I kind of haven't finished the drafts and things. So I'm going to try and get most of those done this morning as well. And then break for lunch, gardening, fresh air. And then in the afternoon, one of the income streams that I am basically trying to resurrect is an Etsy shop that used to be fairly successful, not, you know, knock your socks off successful, but, you know, like 200 quid a month successful, that kind of thing. And to be honest, that's all I'm looking for, isn't it, at the moment? I've got some ideas about how to resurrect it, some fresh designs that I want to put in it, some different products that I want to test out. So it's mostly a print on demand Etsy shop, but there are some digital downloads as well. And what I want to do this afternoon is some research into what it is that people are looking for and kind of see if I can combine that with the theme of the shop as a whole and the types of design that are in it, and start loading it up basically. So I think probably first part of the afternoon will be just researching and making a few notes about what I need to do, and then the other part of the afternoon will be doing it and adding some listings to it. And I think there's maybe 20 listings in this shop, and I've got, I'd say 3 or 4 of them that sell regularly, so it could be a case of like pulling some things out as well as adding some things in, and yeah, we'll see how we go. Oh, and the other thing is as well, I set up a Pinterest account to promote these items on and to promote the books that I put on KDP and all of that jazz. I think I need to create my first pin this afternoon as well and pop that on. So that's what we're going to be up to, and as is typical with a vlog of mine, it might get quite chatty. This will be the type of thing to put on in the background while you're getting on with your own work, because, you know, I could talk to you, I could talk to no one, I could talk to myself, but it's going to be very chatty. So let me show you the stock that I bought first of all. I'm not listing this today, I am putting that away for tomorrow. Okay, so we have gorgeous mug, gorgeous massive mug. And then there's this vintage dressing table stuff. This was probably my best buy. So this is Regent of London, and you can tell that because it says under here Regent of London. And then, oh my god, the even more precious, beautiful, lovely thing is underneath the lipstick holder. Look at that. I mean, look at that velvet. Oh, it's so lovely. And then the sticker, which is well and truly still stuck in place. It's just absolutely gorgeous. So I paid £1.50 for each kind of part of this. And on eBay, I'm really sorry about my chipped, bitten, just horrible fingers and fingernails at the moment. I bite them when I'm feeling a bit stressed, and I was definitely feeling stressed over the summer. But I've put a little bit of nail varnish on just to try and get myself out of the habit of nibbling them. On eBay, the eBay solds for just a pair of candlesticks are anything from sort of £15 to £25, so they're a good buy. And then I'll probably sell these 2 bits combined together, simply because I can't, oh, actually no, I might separate those. Actually. I was thinking because they're both makeup, I think this is probably, would this be for powder or would that be for cotton wool? I'm not entirely sure. It's not a full set, so I don't mind breaking it up into kind of maybe 2 or 3 component parts. I really want to keep this. I think this is lovely. Oh, slightly in love with that. But yeah, so there's that. Probably my worst buy, even though I actually do love them, are these stackable straw woven boxes that are absolutely gorgeous, but I paid £6 for them, which was too much, I think. And they're also in a bit of a state, especially that bottom one. The top 2 aren't as bad, they're in much better condition, but I definitely paid too much for it. I'm just not used to picking up things that aren't jewellery at the moment. So the reason why there's these bits and pieces is that my vintage shop on Etsy has a bit of a focus on the idea of creating a vintage dressing table. So it's got the jewellery on there, but then there's also vintage glass and dressing table accessories and things like that, because I figure that's quite a nice theme for a vintage shop. Now the bits of jewellery that I picked up are these bits here. So we've got some Mexico alpaca earrings, which I paid too much for. I paid £2.50 for this pair of earrings, and I shouldn't have done, but I figured they're pretty big and they have a lot of detail in them, and I think that flower on them is just gorgeous. So I'm probably going to put those up at £12.99 and see how they do. We've then got this. Oh look, the colour red isn't showing up as, oh, is it? It's a slightly more bluey red than that, I would say, in real life. But it is absolutely gorgeous. So a lovely rhinestone Christmas red necklace. Rhinestone necklaces with kind of coloured stones in, they tend to do very well for me. Certainly on eBay. This one's going on Etsy, so we'll see if it does the same over there. I've then just got this plastic beaded necklace, which again, it's not going to be worth a lot. I might manage to get £7 to £10 for that, but I really just love the colour of it and the design. I thought it looked really nice. These necklaces were all £1 basically. These tend to sell regularly for me with the paint splashes on, and they'll go for anything between £7 and £10 depending on the colour and so on. And then there's this one which I really liked as well. It's really hard to tell here, but these bits here, they hang really, I don't know if I can show you by lifting it up. Not really, it needs to be shown like against something. They hang really beautifully, and I think it's because they've got quite an old-fashioned fastening of just these little metal loops, and I just thought it's a little bit more than just a single strand beaded necklace. Anyway, I really liked it, so I picked that up for £1. And then this one, you can hear the difference between the plastic and the glass. Yeah, this is just a black glass graduated single strand necklace, really unusual shape to the beads and really rather lovely. And again, it cost £1. So most of these, with the exception of that, these ones here will probably sell for, I don't know, around the £10 mark. Oh, and then there's this one. This is my absolute favourite. I love this one. Oh my gosh, look at that. 80s I'm thinking. 80s I'm thinking. Oh, it's one of my hairs there. That's nice, isn't it? I'm molting over my stock. But yeah, I think I will put that on for slightly more than £10, I think. But yeah, so they will all be going on Etsy. I will pop a link to my Etsy shop in the video description, so you can have a look at the things that I've got in there and kind of see how that is growing. But for now, these things are just going to go away in a drawer because they'll be photographed tomorrow. Okay, so laptop is out, and I am so these are the bits that I used. This is Canva, where I do an awful lot of my work. These are the bits that I use for my YouTube shorts. That was the picture that I removed the background of on my last thumbnail, and I'm just adding some photos of some jewellery that need slight adjustments, and then they will go into Etsy to form my new listings. I've also got an incredibly scrappy list of things. These are the outstanding listings that I've got all the photographs for. I might even have some drafts started for them, but they aren't finished yet. So I'd like to get through as many of these as possible before lunchtime. Well, it's 12:30. I can't believe how fast time has gone, and I am really disappointed. I only managed to get 5 things fully listed on Etsy, and I don't even have a whole string of drafts to go on at a later date. I was really annoyed by 2 things. The first one being that you can't sort of block your tasks very easily with Etsy. So for example, I can't start a load of drafts, put all the titles in, save them all, and then add all the photos into all of them, save them all, then add all the descriptions, then all the product details and kind of things like that. It's almost like you have to work on one listing at a time, which winds me up because it's just not how I like to work. It's not, I mean, I occasionally work like that on eBay, but for the most part I do you know, I bulk my tasks, and it means that I used to run an 850 item shop on a day and a half a week. I mean, that was literally it. That's all it took to run, because I was batching everything, and it, you know, ran like clockwork and ran really quickly, or it was really quick to do. The other thing that has really irritated me is my own fault, where I've taken a load of photographs and it's been too dark, and so they have needed adjustments, and that takes time as well, and it's very annoying. It's because I don't have a good workflow in place for Etsy yet, so everything is taking me 10 times as long as I feel that it should, and actually 10 times longer than it's financially worth doing when I think about the money that I'm going to get for these listings, which is also something that you know, for me, I think about whenever I'm, you know, working or doing anything, is the money that I'm getting for the time that I'm putting in going to be worth it, or is there a more efficient way of doing this, or should I do something completely different instead? Not very happy at the moment. I'm quite pleased with how the shop is looking. I think it's okay. They're not necessarily my best photos, but I think the shop is kind of building up nicely. I have had one sale on this shop so far. I don't know if I've mentioned that in a video. I don't think there has been one where I could mention it, but I've had one sale. I had a £25 sale not long after I sort of initially opened it, and I had, I think, about 15 or 16 items in it at that point, so that was really good. I'm now up to, I think it's 33, let me check. Yeah, so I'm up to 33 items in there at the moment, and I'm very occasionally getting people favoriting things, but nothing sort of more significant than that. I think what I'm going to do, I originally had this plan where I thought, right, I'm going to get back up to the 800 to 900 listings, possibly even 1,000, because it might take more listings to get the same amount of money these days. And so the original plan was like 400 or 500 on eBay, 400 or 500 on Etsy, and kind of split it 50-50. However, I think I am going to shift the balance slightly, and I think we might be looking more at maybe 550 on eBay, and then maybe 300, 350 on Etsy, just because it's clearly taking me a lot longer. It's going to take me a while to kind of find my groove with it, and at the moment I'm trying to increase my online income fairly rapidly, because, you know, I'm full. Actually, okay, so this is an interesting thing. Let's have a chat. Let's have a little chat. I haven't got my cup of tea. Let's have a little chat before I go and have my lunch. So, oh God, what was I going to say? Where to start? Oh yes, so I made that video, didn't I, saying that I'd had to take £250 out of my savings to top up for the month. That was for August. What happened a few days after I put that video out actually is that I got an unexpected final payment through from the exam board that I do the marking and moderation for, and they also paid me back about 270 quid's worth of tax, because they were taxing me at 40%, because I used to do it on top of my main salary, which obviously was in the 40% tax bracket, so they'd still kind of got that, and they'd overtaxed me. So I got all of that back. I think in total I got nearly £400 back. So I was able to, you know, pay back that money for August and actually cover August completely from my online earnings. And then what was left over went towards September, and September is completely paid for because of that little extra bit that came in from that, plus eBay, tiny little bit of Etsy, etc. So it's actually this month, October, where I'm cutting it a bit fine, and I might not be able to cover everything by the very end of the month. So what I need to do is I've got to ramp up this online income as quickly as possible. The income stream that's best placed to do that is eBay, followed probably by Etsy and KDP and Redbubble, that are all kind of bringing money in, and then after that is YouTube, which is getting increasingly close to being monetized again. So I think when I am organizing myself for the next few weeks, I've got to have a real focus on eBay, and potentially do eBay maybe 3 to 4 days a week. I do think if I prioritize things sensibly over the next few weeks, I could actually sort my online income out to the point where it's covering everything again, which would be amazing. I mean, that would be my preference. That would be ideal, but we'll see how I go. If I'm working at the speed that I have this morning with with those listings, I'm not going to get anywhere fast. I am going to knock that on the head for now and continue with my original plan. I've added those 5 listings to Etsy. I've also, as well as that, sorted out the whole of the rest of the batch of photos and kind of adjusted them and so on. So they are ready to go on tomorrow. And then what I think I'll do tomorrow, because tomorrow's Thursday and Thursday is one of my eBay days. Prior to everything going a little bit tits up over the summer, it used to be a half day on eBay, but actually I'm kind of reinstating it. I'm reinstating it as a full day of eBay. So what I'm going to do tomorrow is some of the jewellery that I was originally going to put onto the Etsy shop, I'm actually just going to whack that onto eBay, and I'm going to aim to get, depending on the item, I can list anything from 30 to 60 items. So you can see why those 5 items that I've put on today on Etsy have really got my goat, because it shouldn't be that long and it shouldn't be that difficult to do. So tomorrow I'm going to treat myself to a whole day of eBay listing, which means that I'll be able to get a big chunk into my shop. Oh, I can't check my phone because I'm talking at my phone at the moment. I think my eBay shop is on just over 400 listings at the moment, so I think I will make my aim tomorrow to get that to about 450 listings. I'm about to go, and I think I'm going to have some lunch. Everything's a little bit kind of delayed from where I was hoping to be, so I'm going to have a little bit of lunch, and I think I will get some fresh air in my back garden, and I'll do the allotment tomorrow. So I'll have a little potter about out there, have a nice cup of tea, rest, relax, do a few little jobs, and then come back in and set to work at sorting out this Etsy shop. And I'll tell you a little bit about what I'm doing there, although that has always been a shop that I have kept private from social media. Well, social media where people associate it with me. It doesn't come under Sparrows End at all. So I'm probably going to keep it private in that sense, but I can talk you through some of the strategies that I'm doing to rebuild that shop, and hopefully that will be an interesting thing. But right now, let's pop downstairs and get something to eat, because I'm really hungry. I'm starving. I need some fuel for this afternoon. Right, so another cup of tea has been made, and I've got a couple of eggs boiling so that I can have egg mayo sandwiches. And I'm just going to pop into the garden. I've got some recycling to take out, and I am also going to get some parsley and some lettuce leaves from the garden to go in the sandwiches that I make. So yeah, let's go and do that. It's editing Mel here. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I've shown you my recycling, and I'm not entirely sure why I'm showing you the lettuce and the parsley that I'm picking to go with my lunch. All I can say really is I will try and be a much better vlogger next time. Okay, so lunch is finished. We've got the next enormous mug of tea on the go. Yeah, it was a decent lunch break. Had a little potter around in the garden, did a few things in there. I got everything out that I need for dinner tonight, which is going to be the last of the homegrown potatoes. I'm going to pan fry those with chilli and garlic, and also pan fry just whatever vegetables and things we've got in the fridge. There's quite a few just like little leftover bits and pieces, so that can all go in there as well. I also did some little jobs like unloaded the dishwasher, took the recycling out, which I think I attempted to record. I don't know whether I'll include that in there. I think it'll be like a 2-second clip of me putting the recycling out. But yeah, that's what I've managed to do over lunch. So we are into the afternoon then, and I am about to start the process of resurrecting an Etsy shop. So the first thing I'm going to do is have a look and see what people are searching for. I'm particularly interested in personalised Christmas items, so I'm going to go and have a look and see what people are looking for. I don't know if it's going to be Christmas cards. I'm assuming that will come up, maybe Christmas ornaments, decorations, that type of thing. Maybe tote bags, cushions. I've already got some mugs. I don't know, I'm just going to see what people are looking for, and then like I said earlier, I'm going to try and tailor that or kind of pull that into the overall theme of my shop. So I'm going to do that, and I'll let you know what I find. I'll pop it on screen somewhere, just so you can see what my findings are. Well, I've had to come back downstairs. I've done all of my research, but I don't know if you can see how bright the light is that comes from the back of the house in the afternoon, and it's that low sort of afternoon light, and it's just right in my eye line. And I was sitting up there at the desk and thinking, oh yeah, I remember this time of year. It's particularly bad as well. Yeah, I've had to come downstairs because I was just like burning my face, as well as not being able to see what I was doing. But I've completed my research, and it was very interesting. There's quite a few things that have kind of come up that have given me ideas. So basically, I was looking at sort of like personalised Christmas items, sort of looking those up in general, and then looking to see how they will fit with the shop that I've got. I think I've repeated that so many times. I'm so sorry. Honestly, I put the camera down and I completely forget what it is that I just said, you know, an hour ago. Lots of things came up that I was expecting. So Christmas baubles, mugs, cards, gifts in general, lots of stuff to do with ornaments and tree decorations and things like that. Also other accessories, and popular motifs seem to be reindeers and fairies and angels and things like that, and elves, jigsaws and jumpers and sweatshirts and things like that. Things with animals on, key rings. Anything else? It's kind of what you would expect, actually. I've gone into slightly more detail in my notes, but it's given me some ideas. So what I did after that is I went to my print on demand supplier. Now, I'm a little bit strange in that I have used things like Printful before, and then I've tried out a couple of British based print on demand platforms. But when I've ordered samples of the products from the two British ones, from Inkthreadable, and I can't even remember the name of the other one. It was Inkthreadable and somewhere else. I ordered the products and they're absolutely awful. Like, the quality is terrible. I ordered mugs and sweatshirts and things, and I'm just like looking at this, and I'm just in absolute horror that I might have sent that out to a customer, because yeah, the quality is just terrible. With Printful, the quality has always been fine, and on the rare occasion where there has been a slight problem, they're always brilliant at reprinting things and sending them out and kind of taking the cost on themselves, because it's an error in, you know, their quality control or what have you. But the problem that I find with Printful is the cost, or their pricing is so prohibitive that you either can't be that competitive, or you're making a really, really tiny amount on the item that you're selling. And when I watch the videos of all of the sort of people that are making thousands of sales a month on print on demand using Printful and Printify and places like that, I'm kind of thinking, well, you sort of have to, like, you'd have to, if you're, some things you're like unable to mark up that much, you need to sell thousands of them in order to make a profit. It's probably where, you know, I was doing something wrong somewhere along the line. But if I see something selling in my shop for £25, I kind of want more than $2 or $3 for it, or kind of as part of it. I don't know. Perhaps I've got the wrong attitude. It could be that. So the supplier that I now use is a UK-based company, and they do a lot of printing for museums, which I think is a good sign that the quality of prints that are sold in, like, the British Museum and things have got to be of a certain standard. So they do a lot of that. And they do sort of have a print on demand element, whereby you can download your orders from Etsy and then upload them onto their system, and that takes some of the work out for you, but it's not completely passive like the others are. But you know, I have had more luck and success when I was using them before I kind of shut things down a lot. So I had a look. What I'm getting at is I had a look on their website just to see if they had any of the products that are selling really well on Etsy. Thinking particularly about the Christmas decorations, they do have them. I know that they've got decent mugs and cushions because I've already kind of sold some of those before. I found some eco tote bags that could be quite good. But mainly the Christmas decorations, oh, and jigsaw puzzles they now do, which I don't think they used to do. Now, personalised jigsaw puzzle is going to be quite expensive. I mean, they are £16 plus VAT to have them manufactured. That's for a 500 piece one. And then like what you would have on top of that, the Etsy fees, I don't know. I think part of my problem is when I look at this stuff, I'm just like, I wouldn't pay that for, I mean, I wouldn't buy a personalised anything anyway, because it's just not really my thing. And I'm not overly keen on having things monogrammed either. But I know that other people absolutely love it. And then I forget that there are plenty of people in the world that have more money than me and that would quite happily spend, I don't know, like 30 quid on a personalised jigsaw puzzle because they can and they want to, and just because I wouldn't doesn't mean that customers on Etsy wouldn't. So I think I've got a bit of an attitude shift in, you know, to make in order to really sort of plough on with this and get things up and running again. Now that I've seen what's selling, what people are searching for, and now that I've seen what's available with the print on demand supplier that I use, I'm not naming them at the moment because I need to get back into using them before I feel even remotely able to recommend them. And actually, because it's not as hands-off as the other print on demand suppliers, I'm not sure whether it's something I would recommend for people or not. I don't know. We'll see as we go. If I get back into it, I start using them again and it builds my confidence in the company, then I will start naming them. But for now, not so much. Happy to name Inksthreadable as terrible though. And I can remember the name of the other one. Happy to name them as awful as well. And usually I've ordered lots of different things from them, and the quality from those places compared to from who I now use, and even compared to Printful, it's not worth it. It's like you'd just be, oh no, it's just not worth it, no. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to narrow down the list of, well, basically come up with a list of what products I'm going to sell and the types of things I'm going to put on the designs. And then once I've made that list, I should be ready to start making the designs. And I think if I can get to the end of the day having made, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 kind of sample designs, I should be able to get those up and listed by the end of the week. Or I might even just sit on the sofa this evening and add those listings. So yeah, I will check back in with you in a little while to let you know how I'm getting on. Okay, so some progress has been made and I think it's positive progress. So first of all, I created one design. I then got in a bit of a flap about it because I don't think it quite fits with the theme of the existing shop. I then toyed with the idea of opening a new shop and then thought, no, just stop worrying about it, stop overthinking it, just whack it in the current shop. And then I'm sure the more I keep sort of putting things together, come out with different design ideas and things like that, that I will be able to steer things more closely towards the style of the shop. And then anything that I put on that I think actually it was a bit of a mistake, it wasn't very good, or it wasn't quite the right thing, I can always just delete that at some point in the future. I just decided that I wanted to plough on, so plough on I have done. I've also found that the mock-ups that Canva do for mugs are fantastic, and it's really quick and easy for me to use them. I'm not going to go into details, but it used to be a bit of a fuss kind of creating my mug mock-ups, and that has definitely got a lot easier. I have started to create the listing for it. I haven't quite finished it because I was copying it across from another mug listing that's already on my shop. And then when I read the description, I thought, oh, actually, I kind of want to tweak and change it. I don't like how it sounds so much. So I've made some tweaks and changes to the description. And interestingly, the tweaks and changes that I've made, they almost bring this design that I was a bit worried about into the fold kind of thing, kind of in line with what's going on in the shop. So I have done that. So I think what I'll do this evening on the sofa in front of the telly is I'll kind of get all of these little tweaks and bits and pieces finished. I'll get that listing completed, and then it will be up there ready straight away tonight. And when I've then got the framework for one listing, all I then have to do is duplicate that and switch out the photos and tags and keywords in the titles, and I can rattle out new listings really quickly. So those are exciting times. It feels like a really exciting thing because it means that any kind of odd bits of time that I get, I can do this in the evenings. Once that template, that's the word, not framework, once the template is created, it then becomes quite easy to rattle them out. What I need to do actually is pay attention to what I do with print on demand and see if I can duplicate the workflow for the jewellery stuff that I was talking about this morning. Yeah, why is it that I find it quicker and easier to do it for print on demand than I do for the vintage jewellery? Bizarre, isn't it? I need to have a little think about that. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up this vlog for now. I'm not quite sure what footage I've got, how it's gone, what it is that I'm going to show you. I think it's just a bit of chit chat really from me today in between getting some bits and pieces of work done. I will probably do some more vlogs like this. So thank you very much for spending a bit of time with me today, and I will see you again soon.